Hello and welcome to this video. We are going to discuss how you can and perhaps should create a detailed and efficient schedule in SiteDrive for your production phase. So this is roughly the general schedule or the master schedule as you typically you receive this as this has been kind of agreed on the sales phase of the project. So now you have this as a starting point. All scheduling in SiteDrive is based on a space model. So this would be the first step to do a detailed space model for the building that we are now planning to implement. And it's important to go into quite a bit of detail here. So for instance, over here you can see that we go even down below the apartment level. So we have an apartment here, and then we have divided that into bathroom and other rooms, because we envision that there are two different types of processes with which this building is being built. So one for the bathroom and the other for the other dry areas, basically. So when we model the spaces like this, it helps in the creation of the schedule then. So this is critical step, and you should always start with creating the space model. I have already created it here, but the software actually guides you to do it. So whenever you create a new project phase, it actually guides you to go here and create the space model for your building. Once that is done, then you can go about and start creating or perhaps copying or importing the master schedule. So you may have, perhaps someone else has created it for you in some other software, perhaps, or perhaps it was already done in SiteDrive. Doesn't really matter. So you can import it, you can type it in. The point in creating the production schedule is, of course, to go into greater details in order to really push the limits of how quickly you can build it in a reasonable manner, of course. So once you get the master schedule in SiteDrive, it's a very good practice to start the process such that you would first add so-called deadlines. So you can add these deadlines to the schedule. And for instance, over here we have an internal deadline that the project is ready. Project ready, like that. And perhaps another one over here, so that the interior phase is ready. Now let me move that a little bit closer, like so. And we could actually promote these both to be something. So this is actually contract level, and let me also promote that as a global. So then it's always visible in our schedules. So those are something that helps you to kind of keep certain timelines intact, no matter what you do inside the schedule. So those are always fixed. They will always remain at the places where you put them, and that just like gives you extra safety perhaps, and kind of a good points of reference for creating the actual schedules then. Okay, so now we are somewhat ready to start doing the detailed scheduling. So it happens in kind of 3 steps, and I'll use the internal phase as an example here, but surely it just applies, like basics. The same principles apply to all different processes, doesn't really matter. So first, you should identify the repeating processes inside the building. Whatever you are building, you identify what are the different processes. Like in these examples, we are envisioning that yes, we have those dry areas and then the wet areas. So those processes are different. So in other one, there is tiling and and plumbing, and then the other ones are, you know, don't have those, but then perhaps laminate flooring and painting and so on. In this first step, you create a detailed work queue for each of those processes. And you don't worry about the configs between the processes. So you can just kind of focus on one thing at a time. That is the point there. In the second phase, then you would look at the whole and then fit the process timings together. So as in the beginning, you didn't really worry about that. So now this is the time when you should start worrying about it, and I'll show you shortly how to do it. And then in the third step, then you would be kind of looking again the same thing from a different angle just to see like how the vertical tasks. So tasks that happen in spaces that are not kind of aligned with those that you usually kind of focus into, where the most work is done, and vertical tasks, for instance, all the shafts. So when you install the vertical lines for the plumbing and for electricity and so on, so that would be a good place to kind of take that into consideration. Okay, so let's start creating those processes first in kind of separately. So let me start with the bathrooms. I have some skeleton here, nothing much. So waterproofing, tiling floors, proper plumbing. Okay, so perhaps I do that. So, and then this, so it's easy to move those work packages around. Now I would like to add something, so perhaps cleaning and finishing. So let me select here. Actually I have selected it already, but nevertheless let me show you. So you can see the whole Gantt hierarchy over here, and you can select a node over here, and when you do that, it's highlighted here. And also what it means is that when you add something new, some new work packages, then those work packages in Gantt are going to be attached to the under this bathrooms node in the Gantt hierarchy. So it keeps the Gantt hierarchy also intact when you are creating something over here in the tact view. So cleaning, and I give it to cleaning team like so, and then I'm adding still the finalizing there, and then we keep that to general contractor like so. So now the next thing is, now we have only, you know, discussed and worried about one space, and this is really like the way you should do it. It's way easier to kind of figure out, perhaps include already the subcontractors, and you know, play around, move the packages around, and make sure that everybody understands what needs to happen here in order then so that the plumber they are able to proceed and so on. So make all those interfaces nice and clear. And then in the next phase you can Control C, so copy these, and then you can start pasting them, you know, either one by one like this. So that's handy if you may have two different processes, so perhaps they are, you know, slightly different. One bathroom without a shower and the other one with one. So then you would have two processes, and then now you can control easily where you want to put each of them. Or the other option is to right click and then paste diagonally, so you get a kind of very quickly the whole schedule when the situation is simple and clear. So then it's definitely worth doing that. And this looks now fine to me. And let me go next to see the try rooms. So again, I have another view that is based on the space model, of course, and now this is only showing the apartments with the try areas, and and I have created already a plan here. This looks good to me. Perhaps to notice is that this is how it looks in SideDrive and in this particular visualization. If you want to, reserve and make certain tasks one floor at a time, so then that's how it's going to look. And it also the visualization kind of highlights nicely the empty areas or the empty spaces that are not utilized in those moments when you clear out the spaces for a bigger area. Okay, so now we have basically both bathrooms and dry rooms, the work queues for each. So now we can start combining them and worrying that, what is the timing between the two. And so what we see here is that, okay, now my timing for the bathrooms was a little bit bad, so it was all over the place. No, not to worry. And I can again open this highlight, and I have selected, so the system remembers what was my last selection for the highlight, and now it highlights these bathrooms work packages and dims the rest, but the rest are still visible, so I can easily kind of understand where they are and what is happening when I move them around. So let me again select this whole thing. So now next I'm shift clicking here, like so, and yet another shift click, and this is how I select this kind of a diagonal section of work packages, and I can start dragging it, and I could either drop it there. So perhaps I think that, okay, we could start the bathroom work when the cleaning starts, but perhaps that's not a good idea because now there's traffic going into the bathroom, so not the greatest idea. So let me do this bathroom actually before the dry area, so like so. So now when the bathrooms are being cleaned, then the work in the other areas begin. So now, okay, perhaps that's fair. So there are separate rooms inside the apartment, and then cleaning, and then doing the other works in the other rooms. Perhaps that's fine. So let me kind of settle with that. I can remove the highlighting, and I can see clearly the whole thing. And again, like a great place again to kind of involve the subcontractors to understand like whether they whether this kind of overlap seems really acceptable for them, and does it affect the work in a bad way. So that's in a nutshell. So how you created the two different somewhat unrelated work processes or work queues, and now we fitted them together. Okay, let's still continue with those vertical tasks. So tasks that happen, for instance, in vertical shafts that are not, like really not connected in a clear way to the apartments, but of course affect everything. So for that, again, we have another view. So this is a new location breakdown that we have created that revolves around the shafts. So we have for each stairwell we have two shafts, perhaps like in this particular case. There is the row for the shaft itself, and then the apartments that are affected or fed by this particular shaft, and same for the other shaft. So now you can see the works from this angle, and now so there are these work packages that model the work that needs to be done in those shafts. So we like do the fireproofing, for instance, and then the plumbing and electrical work. And now it's fairly simple to perhaps I can select all of these and move them around. So since the electricians may be kind of the critical resource over here, so that they are needed the next day over here. Oops, there actually. So we need to move it yet a little bit backwards one day, like so. So now it seems that that can happen. So again, so the point over here is that these different location breakdowns and then associated views that we can create in SiteDrive, they help you to kind of see these situations and kind of, you know, tackle the challenges in doing the schedule kind of one by one. So you don't have to kind of understand everything in one go, but you can kind of chop it up a little bit. So hopefully that helps. So perhaps that's that for now, and see you in the next video.